I think it's just like it's not easy. It's like you're always thinking, no 2 days are the same. You got to go out, you're throwing, like you're saying today, you've thrown like 3, 4, 5 different lures in the same spot to try and work out what that fish is going to eat. You're always thinking. It's very rare 2 days are the same. You can work out little patterns and you think you've got them nailed, and then you'll come out and the next day or even a few hours later and you go, what just happened? Why aren't I getting bites? Yeah, I just love them. I love targeting them. Hey guys, my name's Matt. I work here at the Tacklewest in Beckenham, and Luke's been gracious enough to give me the day off tomorrow to go out and do some filming and go and catch some fish on the Swan and Canning rivers. So I thought we'd give you a quick rundown of what we're going to do tomorrow. We'll get out on the boat and we're going to punch around, find some fish, hopefully some bream. We'll throw some mussels on structure, some blades, some vibes, that kind of thing. Just punch around the bridges, hit some flats and have a look around. Might head down the river. We'll see what the day throws up. We've had a bit of rain recently, so it's going to be a bit of an adventure, and we'll take a few toys and see what we can find. So we'll have a quick look at a few of the things I'm planning on throwing tomorrow. We'll start you with the Outback Bream Baits Muss. It's a favourite. We're going to throw this on structure, on bridges, on pylons. Slow roll along some drop-offs, and hopefully they'll pick them up, and we'll get some good fish. Next one is a blade. So it's like the same style lure, but in a metal, skinnier profile. They work really well for that deep water fishing. All that rain we've been having, I think that's where they're going to be. And then lastly, soft plastics. You can't go past a Slim Swim. Motor oil, the water's got a bit of colour, so this will stand out really, really nicely. Between these 3 lures, hopefully we'll find a few fish. That was the only one of that lure that I had. So I'm going to switch it up to a regular jig head, the Bait Junkie. I go for a 1/16. This is quite still this morning. There's only a gentle breeze and not too much current running through, so I'll go to a traditional 1/16 head, and I think I'm just going to start slow rolling and hopping the Slim Swim across the bottom, and we'll see how that goes. There's been a few fish touching the lures just off the drop-off. So having this Bait Junkie head with that flat chin, I can just set it up on the drop off and wait for them to pick it up. Oh, that'll be illegal. Finally hooked the first half decent fish. That's not a bad one. There you go. It's actually a reasonably solid fish. That'll be sort of low 30s, mid 30s. And there's that Slim Swim we tied on earlier, just slow rolling that, bumping it along the bottom, down a drop off, and he choked it pretty hard. Pop that out. great fish actually.
Yeah, it's good.
35 tipper. I feel like I need to explain these sunglasses I'm wearing. I may have misplaced them on the boat ramp this morning in the dark. They were on my jacket and then they weren't all of a sudden and it was too dark to find, so the Ray-Bans have made an appearance. Please don't judge me. They're close quarters fishing, not even that big. When you hook them close to structure like that. There's another one on that slim swim. It's a illegal fish for sure. He hit it pretty hard, clunked it off of the pylons there. There's a lot of structure that you can't see below the waterline as well, which is why I went so hard on him. It's a nice conditioned little fish. So he's a 28 and a bit, 29 tipper. We like to measure the fork, so I'll call that a 26 fork. Now the reason I'm throwing it in the well is when you're fishing spots, especially structure where the fish are concentrated, sometimes the catch and release of a fish straight away can spook the rest of the fish. So we'll stick it in here, let it chill out, and then we'll pop them back later. So on the bridges, it's absolutely no secret. The outback ribbon baits mussel, blue lip baits mussel, pretty much all these mussels are my go-to lure. I prefer the heavy ones, light ones will still work, but on Canning Bridge behind me, especially when the current's flowing, the heavier mussels tend to work better. But we'll tie this one back on and we'll get back in there, and I reckon we'll have a good chance of finding some good bream or tarwine on these pylons. The flow's going through nicely now, so hopefully it gets a few fish to feed. So yeah, we'll get this on and we'll go back in there. That'll do. It's a nice little tarwine, I think. Nice. Pop that one spot lock so I don't drift a kilometre down the river. Like a cast in after we just had that little chat after I've re-rigged, and straight away we've had a healthy tarwine come along and crunch the muss in the corner of the mouth there. It doesn't take long. That current's moving through, and yeah, mussels on the pylons, a couple of hops and crunch. We'll chuck this one back though. Tarwine don't tend to like it in the live well too much. The water's actually really quite clear. If you look over the side, you can actually see the bottom. After we had about 40 mil of rain the other day, I thought it would be a bit dirtier, but the tide's pushing in, so it's pushing in a bit of clean water and snags. There's lots of rocks and logs and shopping trolleys, cones, whatever the locals have thrown over the bridge.
Do you reckon the rain, like the fact that it's raining now, makes a difference?
I've never really put too much credence into while it's actually raining. I don't think it has a huge impact. Maybe it helps to hide your presence a bit with the noise on the water, the lures hitting the water, but you know, under bridges where it's noisy like this, I don't think it really matters too much. I think rain previously and the amount of rain in terms of how much flow you had coming out and water clarity is a much more important thing to think about and take into consideration. And yeah, looking at it here, you'd think it would be way dirtier, but because this tide's pushing in, because it's such a narrow pinch point, the water's actually quite clear. So the thing I find with Canning Bridge is you don't necessarily have to be right on the pylon just like that and just drop it. You can throw it down the middle and bump it along because of all those snags and rocks and debris. They're sitting out there in little back eddies and feeding on the structure, and a lot of the current actually runs on a 45. It doesn't run straight along the pylon, so your muscle or your lure is going to get washed around either side and bump along, and they'll just come along and pick it up like something natural getting washed through here. I like doing the last one. That's actually not a bad fish. Right, now what do I do? There you go, we're just talking a bit of shit, and I was letting the mussel soak on the bottom, and up comes the star one.
Did you catch the first fish on a mussel?
Yeah, first one on a muss, and what I love about these dowley muss, the outback breamer baits, is one hook either side of the mouth, and a lot of the time you get them in each side of the head or in the mouth, and you can pull pretty hard with your heavier leads and more solid rods and just winch him out of cover. But he's done a bit of a number on the bottom of the lead there. I was lucky to get him. We've got a few curls coming off, but that's a decent tail one. There's some much bigger ones under there though, so I'll have a few more casts, and then we might move on to a new location and see what we can find. So the leader I'm running at the moment is 7 pound. It's a Yamatoyo Chinu Harris is my favourite one, but any fluorocarbon will really do the trick. I like to fish them in 1 pound increments, but that's because I'm a nut job and I love fishing for bream. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12. So I just find 7's a good diameter. It's nice and abrasion resistant, but still not so thick that it clunks through the guides and provides sort of an unnatural action. It's good for this sort of style of fishing, but you do tend to have to retie a fair bit, but hey, it's the price you pay for catching good fish. That was heavy. You can say that when you don't land the fish. They're a smart fish. It's one of the reasons I like to generally throw some weird and wacky stuff. Like, we're not doing so much of that today, but if there's a tough day or there's a lot of boats on the water, you know, you can almost guarantee that 10 of those boats in front of you have just thrown a Z-Man swim or a Z-Man grub, slow rolled it down on a 1/20th, 1/16th jig. Like, they've seen that, and they've seen that lure for however many years, and yes, it still works fantastically, but sometimes showing them something different is what they need. You can throw it in the exact same spot, and I've done that fishing tournament. You fish someone's dirty water, you're fishing 30 metres behind them, they've peppered the bank with one lure and you come in with something completely different. And I've pulled, you know, big bream, like probably, you know, keg of fish, just by throwing something different or in a slightly different style of like a straight through fluorocarbon setup where it's a different sort of sink and it's a bit more finesse. Like, there's different things, showing them different lures and different sort of techniques and actions, you can get the bite. So yeah, they are a pretty smart fish and they do learn. But in saying that, you know, Z-Man grub will still catch them on most days. So like the leaf is getting pushed out. That's all that fresh for the other day, but the tide is pushing in underneath. It can make it a little bit tricky to fish. Your line on top goes one way and then on the bottom it goes the other, and it can be hard to keep contact and see the tick in the line when you're fishing a slack line lure like a mussel. This one is a heavy, which is 5.8. And then there's an OG, which is the lighter one, which is 4.8. He's just come out with a new upgrader as well, which is like a bigger 41mm muss, and it weighs 8 grams. I threw him on the first time the other day at Blackhawk Reach, and it now resides on Blackhawk Reach. This little bream. Frying chips. That's another nice little eagle fish. Just picked it up off the bottom, just had a little tap on the lure and just gonna swing hard. There you go, that one fell out of his gob, but that's another nice little sort of high 20s model. They got pretty good guts on them at the moment as well. A lot of fish are in pretty good condition. They're all feeding up, getting ready for the spawning time of year, so this is a really good time to come out and target them because they're hungry and they're they're eating lures. But yeah, it's a nice little fish to add to the bag. Oh. Just watch that line just tick straight off, and it was running me straight onto the pylons. Picked it up on the sink. Slightly bigger than the last one. Trying to detach him from the net. Got a nice little fish, probably about a 30 tipper. Real healthy again, nice dark colour on them. They get quite dark on these bridges, big fat guts as well. They're in pretty good condition at the moment. It's another one to the bag. We've almost got a full sack. Another nice little legal, I reckon. Yeet! Oh, it's actually not bad. There you go. The confidence is high now. Who needs a net? Yeah, another nice little black and gold brim, muss in the gob. It's working pretty well now on the narrows. I think the current's just starting to flow enough to get them a bit more aggressive, a bit more feeding, and actively hunting something to have a snack on. I think it's a scorp 35.
Yeah, in that
They were there.
oh,
Nice little fish.
in the black and gold.
Muscle munchers. It's interesting though when you have a look at them. Well, it's interesting to me anyway. Is that stop it? Doesn't like that. Is his teeth? You can focus on his teeth. Like a lot of the time, the mussel eaters will have like a more flat, ground down tooth, and the ones that eat the bait have those real sharp, pointy teeth. So that could mean that a lot of fish are starting to come in from different areas to get ready to spawn. From different parts of the system. And usually the bridge dwellers as well, the ones that hang out on the bridges a lot tend to have more of a cut up tail and quite rounded tail, where this doesn't. So suggests that these guys might have moved down with that bit of rain and are fattening up down here, getting ready to do their thing. See ya. With these crankbaits, it's really important to get it as close to that bridge as possible. Fish is sat in behind cover, and you've got to get it right along there, almost touching that bridge as you go, feeling bumping along that bridge bottom. If you're out too wide, it's hardly likely that you get a bite. That one. It's alright. That's good. Pretty good fish. There you go. So, it was a bit quiet throwing the muss. Things weren't really happening, so I've changed back to a crankbait. That's an Infeed Kadachi. I love the chrome patterns on them. And a couple of casts in, this guy slammed it off the wall. So it's a solid little fish, and he put up a pretty good tussle as well. It's always good fishing crankbaits like that. It's such a good bite. You just get slammed and hold on. Yeah, definitely an upgrade. That's a solid fish. About 33.5 tip. So we'll call him a 34-er. So this is the reason we use cull tags, especially in a tournament as well, is when you're picking and choosing and going through your fish, you can find the biggest fish and the smallest fish, and take the smallest one out of the well and replace it with the one that's going to be longer and bigger and weigh more. So in this case, it's this guy here. Put him down there. The deck's really wet still. We'll pop the tag out of this one. Send him back over there. And that one, we say 34-er. So I'll slide my numbers around on here. There you go. And with these fish, they have a soft little corner of the mouth there. Doesn't hurt them. Just pop that through there. Close up the clip, and they go in the well. In the live well, there's constant flowing of new water pulling up from down below the boat, and they'll happily sit in there all day long until they're ready to go. Yeah, it's a good little upgrade. A few extra grams on the scale. That's a much better fish. That's a real one. How good's that? That's much more the quality of fish we're looking for. He's choked back that slim swim. That'll be a mid to high 30s, this fish. We were just saying we're just going to wait out this little bit of rain in the bridge here, and the crankbait sort of stopped working, getting bites, and I threw on the slim swim with a hidden weight and just skipped it along and shook the rod tip, and it didn't take long, probably 2 casts, and he absolutely choked it. How good's that? Pretty good tussle as well in close quarters. 35 tipper, 32 forker. Unpinch the tag, slide it out, nothing left there, pop him back. We get to put our 32 forker in there, which is a much healthier sort of fish. Good one. Good fish. Really good fish. That's a cracker. Yes. Woo! How good is that one? That's the fish we've been looking for all morning. Oh, they're getting bigger. Look at that, he's choked it. I could tell straight away, we're about to have a collision, I could tell straight away that it was a better fish. So you just feel that weight, but when they get them in their mouth like that, they sit there and shake their head. It's like you feel a vibration through the rod, and you just got to go hard. But that's an absolute cracker of a specimen. Slim swim all the way down in there. And we were saying it off camera, that last hook, the hook had bent and the point had rolled. And I made sure I checked my hook, which was a good thing, because if I had left that jig head on, there's absolutely no way we would have got that fish. There you go, that's a 39 tipper. That's an absolute cracker of fish. We're giving 35 fork. That's an absolute cracker. That would anchor the bag in any tournament. Same thing again. 27 fork is going out. And a 35, 36 fork is going in. That's a pretty big weight upgrade. We'll say goodbye to that guy. There you go. It's good to see all those fish we're taking out of the well. They're swimming off super strong. They're absolutely in perfect condition in there. So I think now we go and find another one. I don't know how we're going to top that though. That's pretty good. Fish. Just talking about the concerning weather coming in with the lightning and the thunder and all that fun stuff. And we hooked a nice little fatty. There you go. Oh, and it's got the dent on its head. Now, some people say it's a thing from nets, but apparently it's like a genetic mutation which they carry. I don't know enough details about it, but it's interesting because you do catch a lot of fish which have this weird divot. It's, don't think they seem to lack any brain power. Yeah, it's a good little fish. It'll be 30 centimetres. We'll chuck him straight back though. We've got a pretty good bag already. See ya. Before we finish up today, we've had a really good morning and mid-arvo on the water. Thought I'd do a quick rundown of some of the gear I've been using today and I like to use just in general. So I've got my force set up so I take out pretty much every time to my left here. So I'll start, this is the Blade Freak, and this is a range of Miller rods that I run, and I pair them all with dial reels. So this is a Blade Freak. I use this for a bit of mussing, bit of blading, bit of jerk baiting on the flats as well. Today I've got a pygmy muss tied on there. It's like a 7'3", bit more of a regular taper, keeps those treble baits in the fish really, really well. All these rods cast awesome as well, I will say. They run like titanium, torzite and silicon framed. They're freaking awesome. Yeah, so the next one along I caught a lot of the better fish on today is the Grub Freak. This is like the soft plastic special, really good for slow rolling, but also that softer tip I can really shake and feel what's going on when I'm doing more of an erratic retrieve. Match tool revelry, 25 shallow just like on the Blade Freak, 7'3", really, really nice plastics rod, cast like a dream. Ow. I've got a pretty good fish on this one as well. This is the Twitch Freak, 6'10", designed for, as the name suggests, twitching lures. I like it with treble baits. It's a more regular tapered rod. You can slow roll, twitch, crankbait, do all that kind of stuff. And it does it really, really well, helps keep those trebles in. Accurate casting is 6'10", which is really nice. This one's paired with a TD Black, so a bit more of a budget-friendly reel. Really, really nice setup for that kind of fishing. And the last one in the range I've got here is the Brawler. It's 671, super light tip, but really, really powerful through the midsection and the bottom end of the blank. Basically, I use this just winching fish out of structure. Run it with a Surtate for that reason. Metal body, really solid, no flex. I throw muss a lot, bridge pylons, all that kind of thing, and just lock up and just pull hard. Heavy leaders, 7, 8, 10 pound. Awesome accurate casting, and yeah, really sort of rounds out the range of rods there. I've got a rod pretty much to do everything. All these rods, Millers, by the way, they are available at all Tacklewest stores, so if you're interested in them, you can pop down and we can run you through them. They're a great stick for brimming. They're what I choose to use, regardless of whether we stock them or not. I think they're a really good rod, and all dial reels, you can't really go too wrong. All right, so that's the end of the day. These are the two biggest ones. This one's a mid-30s. This one's just about a centimetre shy of 40. Really good conditioned fish. They all fought so hard, and man, they're really cracking fish, and it's been a really good day in the water. Caught a heap of fish at pretty much all the spots we went to. So now we'll get these guys back, and yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoy the video. Cheers.